Hey guys, welcome back. Let's call this part 3. If you haven't, check out part 1 and part 2 called rental yield and ROI, return on investment. It's super critical and it's going to help you on your investment journey. We're going to cover something very important in this video. Before we do that, show reel. All right, welcome back guys. Look, check this out. I'm gonna share with you a very important concept, super simple to understand, and relate that with something else, let it be a surprise, so that you would have a little bit of a paradigm shift and understand real estate investment from a slightly different perspective, where you're protecting your wealth and not over leveraging or putting your money into over risky investments. All right, check this out. What essentially is a payback period? Okay, very simple for the ones who've actually, okay, so payback has nothing to do with Mel Gibson's movie Payback. I think he was in Payback. And periods got nothing to do with the dot period, but it's actually the time period. Okay, essentially speaking, it's super simple. It's an economic financial concept. A payback period is the amount of time it takes for your money invested or the cash outlay to come back to you. Okay, let's do an example so that you will easily understand. If you put in 100 dirhams, let's say this could be 100 million, this could be 100,000, could be a 1 million. Let's just say 100, okay, for ease of understanding. If you put in 100 dirhams in a real estate investment, okay, the payback period depends on how much money you're going to be getting each year as net income back to you to make that 100 whole back to you, okay? If you don't understand this payback period, I would highly, actually, to understand this better, I recommend looking at part 1 and part 2, rental yield, okay? Now, if you have invested 100 dirhams or 100 million and you're getting 10 dirhams or 10 million dirhams back every single year, then essentially speaking, once you've got 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you've got your 100 same as this back, right? And how long did it take you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. This is essentially speaking what payback period is. It takes you 10 years to get your money back, okay? Now, if you were making instead of 10 dirhams back, you were making, let's just do 8, okay? So just looking at a calculator, okay? If you were making 8 dirhams back every year, okay? 8, essentially speaking, by the time you've got 100 dirhams back, this 8 is going to take you, so let's just put it here, 12.5 years to get your 100 back, okay? It's going to take you 12.5 years. Now, if you're getting, 7%, okay? So let's just do 7 here. 7, it's going to take you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 approximately years back to get your 100 back, okay? So this takes you 14 years. Essentially speaking, obviously, lots of investors, they like to get their money back within the least amount of time, right? So 10 years would be good. Hey, if I could get 12%, I could get my money back in, essentially speaking, 8 years, okay? So this is at 12. Okay, check this out, okay? Now, obviously, as rental yields go further down at 6.5, 5.5, at 5, At 5% or 5 dirhams perhaps, it would take you 20 years to get your money back. Okay, all right. And you're going to be telling me, well, that's a pretty darn bad payback period, like 20 years. I want you to understand something, and this is something I wrote in my book as well, The Intelligent Real Estate Investor. And I said very clearly that, look, if you ask me what's the best way to utilize my money, I would say go and run a business, right? If you've got a great idea and you know how to, and you're visionary and you're entrepreneurial and you can carry risk and you get, and you're good at HR and finance and marketing and sales and can hire teams to come together to work great, well, you know what? Business, even my business, the B looks like $1 actually. Business is going to give you 10 up to 50% return sometimes, right? If you can execute, if you can bring resources together in an opportunistically proper, appropriate way, you could essentially make 50% return per year. Now I want to compare this to you, and I want to explain something to you. When people are purchasing businesses in the UAE, in Dubai, one of my friends used to be somebody who could help you acquire a business. The payback period they're looking for is 2 years or a maximum 3 years payback period. Okay? Essentially speaking, they're looking at 50% return on investment year one, or they're looking at a 33% so that in 3 years they can get their original capital, 100 dirhams back. But guess what? Here's the thing. If you've got a property, okay, which could depreciate in value, but it's not going to go down to zero. Okay, this is the property. Whereas you've got a business that's maybe worth $1 million, but could go down to zero if the economy tanks, like the global pandemic happens. Like even in this global pandemic, even if properties have lost value, even if rents have come down, they've not gone down to zero. But can a business, like in a global pandemic, if it can't survive, can't get customers, can't adapt, can it go down to zero? This cannot go down to zero. Your property, it could go from 100 to 80% value. So it could lose 20% value, but your business could lose 100% value and go to zero. So the inherent risk that you're taking in taking on a business and having to use the skill set to run it properly justifies the greater returns and the shorter payback periods of 2 years, 3 years, or let's even say 4 years if you're looking at a 25% return per year. But you're going to have to run this business in a proper way and have a proper team in place, right? Whereas in the property situation, you are carrying less risk. I'm not saying no risk, but essentially speaking, you're carrying less risk. Unless like the economy just completely tanks, or there are some cities in the US which are degrading and decrepit, and houses are falling apart, the economy is falling apart because the mayor, etc., etc. I don't know, I don't want to comment on the US economy. I haven't lived in the US, I lived in Canada, but the idea is there's less risk inherent here. Your property could go from, let's say if you bought it for $1 million, it could go to 800,000, it could go to 500,000 dirhams as well. Let's even say you lose 50% value, it will still not go to zero. Whereas in a business environment, your business could essentially go down to zero. Same thing with stocks and shares, right? You're investing in stocks and shares. Check this out. You could get it's speculation because you're not getting dividends, but you could get very high returns if you're reselling and speculating and day trading. But can they go down to zero? Yes. Your property essentially doesn't, generally speaking. There's always exceptions, by the way, right? Can I fly? No. Can humans fly? No. There are always exceptions. Maybe there are some people out there who can fly. Okay? Does that make sense? So payback period, if you're too greedy, well, hold on, you're allowed to be greedy, okay? If you want your money back in 10 years, go do that. More exciting, but more risk. But the reward is going to be commensurate with the risk. Here, less risk, and the reward is going to be commensurate with the risk you take. I hope that makes sense. All right, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. Look, share this with other people who you think would benefit. Show me some love so I can show you more love back. Ciao for now. Bye. Okay guys, so thanks for watching. My name again is Fahd Dawood. I've been doing this for 14 plus years. I started in 2006 in Toronto, Canada, and since 2007 I've been doing this in Dubai. I generally talk about real estate, your life, my life, and our path to allowing financial bliss coming to us. If you want to work with me, such as buy a property in Dubai, or you need general advice, you can hit me up on in the contact form below. If you've liked this video, I'd appreciate if you subscribe, press the bell icon, and hit the like button and share it with other friends. Ciao for now.